Welcome back to Bloodborne PSX. We've made it to the other side of the street of the Great Bonfire. This is what they're cooking. A werewolf. And they had a sniper, making sure no one interrupted the barbecue. To no avail. So, our bonfire of sorts would be right about over there somewhere. And the only thing over here is cold blood dew. It is crystallized blood that we can pop open and consume at our leisure. There's a door I used to get up here. I'm going to take a little shortcut down this way. Your sniper failed. Don't mind me. Save me loading zone. Now, look at this magic trick. This is exactly where we left off after going through the loading zone. Behind us, multiple prizes. Our character just walked through that gate, saw these glowies, kept walking. We need to correct that error manually, because one of those things was a torch. We've seen many torches lying around, discarded by the enemies. That is the first one we are allowed to wield, and we will be wielding it. Double bloodstone shards. Glad we checked that corner. What else have we up here? Some either laughing or crying residents inside this house. I'm gonna guess laughing. Rude. They delight in our suffering. Fortunately for us, the suffering is pretty fun. We've been up that way. That leads to the Great Bridge, wherein werewolves wander freely. And a cleric beast waits at the far end. We've solved that issue already. Find a locked gate and some pleasant music. Certainly more enjoyable than the cackling and cruel people on the other end. But no one's home. Yep, not even spinning our camera through the door reveals any further information. Just a little spot where we can take a brief respite and enjoy pleasant tunes. Not enough music in this game. Arguably the right amount, but minimalist. This person is always waiting in ambush for us to leave the lantern. So when we are returning to the lantern, they're just a sitting duck. And here is that lantern. Little skeletons, still looking snazzy. Never gonna get sick of that. Adorable. We sure made it back to the dream quickly, because all of the loading screens we saw in the first video were entirely artificial. There's an option in the menu to disable them. But I do like the effect they give. Makes it more similar to an actual PS1 experience. And an actual Bloodborne experience, but that said, we've seen enough of them. Probably go buy some upgrades, but our Saw is +1. What more do we need? We certainly can't afford any level ups. So let's actually head to the exact spot where we left off last time. I just activated this lantern. Obviously on the other side, locked gate. So dead end. we shall return the way we came. That's right. It was well guarded by a wall of crows and a troll. Well, our gun can deal with the crows. And the troll, for that matter. Unless... Yep, one heavy attack. He's taking a nap. All that to get over here. We have the werewolves still patrolling. I'd rather not bother them. An open door inviting us in. And another door, but it's inaccessible due to this hole in the ground. I'm going to take the hole rather than the door that's already open. See, cold blood do. I've clearly made the right choice. But this is a dead end. I cannot escape from this direction. So into this place we go. It would be bad news if we came in here without the torch. So I made sure to get it before entering the derelict estate. I am rather fond of this area of the game, for a variety of reasons. We have already left the derelict estate, but we'll be back. Let's bring the pistol back out. Never know what we're going to see out here. Better to be prepared. The owner of the estate keeps a lot of dogs in cages. They're still somewhat dangerous and must still be dealt with. Especially because some of the cages are faulty. The estate may have fallen into despair, so too have the cages. And we obviously get blood for every kill. Trade a little bit of our thin blood each time, due to my lack of caution. We have the Saw Cleaver now, and I am inclined to be more reckless than ever. This thing has a very fast attack, excellent attack arc. I find it to be much more useful than the threaded cane. It even does a little more damage. This dog disinterested in us, trying to get in this door. So, we've saved the resident. Let's inform them of the good news. They're dead. The dog just wanted their meat. I don't know what killed them. We haven't seen a single person who was indoors who managed to die, unless the building was already ransacked. Typically, staying inside is pretty safe these days. So safe that it makes people very confident and laugh maniacally at our misfortune. For the fact that we are not inside. Oh, hello. Still haven't encountered a werewolf. Don't especially need to now. And stun lock them to death. Even when they get the jump on me. So the reason we're here is to clear out this window. Climb out onto these rafters. Into the sewer area, but clearly not the sewers themselves. Clearly the people of Yarnum did not want to set foot in the sewers. So we've got an elaborate series of planks, keeping us dry. Somehow, there are hanging, chained up corpses. They're full of prizes. if you slash them down, you do take that step forward, and that might just be enough to walk off the edge. Ooh, a top hat as well. Let's see what we have gathered here. Are tons of new stuff. We got the blood spear. Trick weapons. Effective at drawing the blood of beasts. Transforms into a spear. And it drips a constant flow of blood. Let's see that in action. And our top hat. We still have the rumpled hat, however, try to equip it. A little sound effects that says, no, you may not do this. Instead, we can wear the top hat. A adequate replacement. Increases skill and blood tinge. It's for hunters who enjoy fanciness. Presently, I'm among them. So here's our blood spear. Constantly dripping blood. Cool effect. One important thing that we may not have noticed in its nature. It scales off of blood tinge. That's what the red symbol means. That is the same thing that our guns scale off of. So, if you were to build your character around shooting guns and stuff, this would be an excellent right-hand weapon. It's not something a lot of people would choose to do, but it does differentiate this weapon from the Saw Cleaver. For the worse, in our case. But it's interesting nonetheless. Because functionally, in the base game, the actual Bloodborne for PS4, the Saw Cleaver and the Blood Spear are effectively identical. Is my understanding, having never played the game. This is why we came here. A new friend. Who means us no harm, so let's chat.
Oh. A hunter, are you? And an outsider? What a mess you've been caught up in. And tonight of all nights. Here, to welcome the new hunter.
Bearing prizes is Eileen. Actually, we've come to Eileen. There's no way, based on in-game information, that you would know that this person is named Eileen. Once again, cheating and looking things up. Sometimes it's good to be afraid of monsters. Even when you're a hunter. So, what have we been given? Let's see. We've got the Hunter's Mark we have had from the beginning of the game. Now we have a bold Hunter's Mark. Throw it on the quick bar and then see what it does. Because right now we have no way to know. It is like the Hunter's Mark, sends us back to the Hunter's Dream. But we get to keep our blood echoes. So strictly better, hence why they are a limited resource. Nonetheless, I will take the fact that we have earned some as a hint to use them. In this case, it takes us back to the last checkpoint we went to, which is for the better, because we have more to explore inside the derelict estate. Oh, friends. Friends remain. I'm gonna get a real weapon, just in case I need it. You never know. I mean, anything's possible. Well, with the way the camera works sometimes. At least I got to show that off. There are many cheat codes in this game. I'm sure we'll get a good demonstration of them. But cheat codes are something I love in PS1 games. And one of them allows you to reassign death texts. I think I made the most that option. Make sure to get the one that has our echoes. And then do exactly the same thing, expecting a different result. I mean, the troll didn't immediately whip around and murder me. So that is a different result. One hit, KO. Rewarded with a pebble. Never enough pebbles. So, this time we try the door, which also leads into the derelict estate. Just a different portion thereof. This one is well guarded if you approach from the other side. Guy's screaming at us, but did not actually see us, so sometimes he just likes shouting in the dark. Can hardly blame him. I haven't actually used the torch on anybody. Yeah, let's get out terrible weapons and try them out on basic enemies. We likely will not get better opportunities, so just the attack arc of the torch leaves a lot to be desired. And the damage is also rather poor. So the blood spear has the same attack animations as the saw. And you can still stun lock enemies, but the damage is much worse. Sparkly in the darkness. Always hit the lock-on button first. Just in case there's anyone in a wheelchair who might cause problems. Now we're safe. Do some reading. When the hunt began, the healing church left us, blocking the great bridge to the cathedral ward as old Yarnum burned to the ground that moonlit night. So, this really is a sequel to Nightmare Creatures. This is after the Great Fire of 1834, was it? I should probably remember this. Did a whole history segment during that Let's Play of Nightmare Creatures. But the story of Nightmare Creatures also revolves around a great fire, burning an old Victorian town to the ground. Away! And it also involved diseases that made humans transform into beasts, including werewolves. So yeah, it looks like this game may well have been directly inspired by Nightmare Creatures. Not this remake. In fact, the creator of this remake, I believe, was aware of Nightmare Creatures when she began the project, but had never played it and was not, like, intimately aware, didn't know the plot or anything specific about it. So any similarities are entirely unintentional and based on the fact that Bloodborne is just really, really, really similar to Nightmare Creatures in its default form. This is Gilbert's house. That big door we just opened used to be locked, but we have come in from the other side. What's Gilbert up to?
You needn't concern yourself with me. I'm afraid I'm of little help now. What afflicted me was incurable, but this town gave me hope. Their strange blood bought me time. I was most fortunate, unharmed by the plague of beasts. I can even die human. But before I take this...
Well, talking to Gil always brings rewards. This time, a flame sprayer. Brand new weapon. Does not produce flames automatically like our torch, but it can be convinced to produce some flames. Yeah, we tried the Great Bridge, no luck. Sewers as our next best bet. South of the Great Bridge. So, opposite end to where the locked door is. Gotta find an alternate route into that cathedral ward. Feels pretty insistent. That, by the way, was the last we're gonna see of the derelict estate for now. We did not get to see what I like so much about it. Because at the moment, cannot.
Welcome home. What is it you desire? Very well.
What indeed?
Let me now.
We can afford 2 levels. Straight endurance is probably unnecessary. I mean, none of these affect our current weapon. And all the blood tinge we could possibly afford gives us 0 extra points of damage for either of our weapons. Good stuff. There's also an arcane stat. We haven't seen anything that works with arcane. Eventually. We'll stick with these. And we'll get back to work. Blood Spear, you are relieved of duty. And the Saw Cleaver can be transformed. Let's also look at the Blood Spear's transformation. Yep, same deal. A little longer. I don't know if it actually has a longer hitbox when transformed. It does have a good sweeping attack arc, whereas... should check this out before actually getting into any combat. Overhead swing. Effectively useless. You can hit one person. And hit him pretty hard. But pretty slowly. I find the transformed Saw Cleaver to be terrible. You got 3 bloodstones. The shards. We would need 4 for an upgrade. Can upgrade the flame sprayer. We can even upgrade the torch. If we are very strange. And absolutely hate limited resources. For now, though, we'll save what we have, get back to work, and de-transform this thing. We go back to the beginning of the Great Bridge, which ironically begins at the Great Bonfire. Wouldn't want to have to fight our way through the troll and both werewolves. Bridge Troll gets to not get his toll today. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into pseudo first-person view, which can only be done with our pistol, so that we can look at that. Something glowing on the edge. Grab some blood on our way there. Two kinds of blood. Now we gotta go back up here, where every enemy in the world lives. Start with the dogs. They're faster anyway, so they'll love to split themselves off. He got his shield back up at the last second, but he's so slow. Didn't save him. Trying to conserve ammo. Quicksilver bullets are 200 bloods each, if we need to purchase them back in the Hunter's Dream. But I'd prefer not to have to do that, because that is pretty expensive. Especially considering how quickly we go through the bullets. Hadn't gone down this way yet. We could have come here any time. And it would have brought us to this upper area. Way above the bonfire. But the reason to come here is another bloodstone shard. Now we can upgrade the Saw Cleaver again. And safely descend into the sewers. Everyone loves a sewer level. I mean, Nightmare Creatures had one. Obviously, this game did as well. I am familiar enough with original Bloodborne to know that it eventually deviates from Nightmare Creatures in a way that nothing in the Nightmare Creatures series ever gets anywhere close to. Really, nothing in any game ever gets anywhere close to. Bloodborne is quite unique. Mostly in its later stages. You can take a ladder upwards. The camera suggests we do that. Starting to wish I had. 3 rats can be a problem. Rats have surprising amounts of HP. And very quick attacks. And are generally pretty annoying. So it's a bit of a long walk to get back to this exact spot. But at least we have appropriate text for sewer deaths. Just about where we left off then. Blood is 2 rat combats away. Blow out a nice attack. Always easy to do when there's just the one of them. Hey, they didn't actually drink my blood. They left it lying on the floor. How polite. Okay, this one's separated from the herd. That's what a group of rats is called, a herd. Much more well-behaved this time. Now we're home free. Just keep an eye out for their big bulbous eyes. Stick out like a sore thumb in the darkness. If we had climbed that ladder, we'd be able to get up to that rafter, see what that prize is. Perhaps later. There's a shiny, but it's even better guarded than the path simply walking through the sewers. I have to assume that these monsters were all former humans as well. But now we get to play even more dress up. We got the hunter hat, +1 endurance. Endurance is always the best. You never go wrong with endurance. And the hunter garb, even more endurance. And all of our damage stats go way up as well. Not to mention the classy look. Only problem is it covers virtually every millimeter of skin. Just barely see the slit of our eyes. I miss our green hands. Need to be reminded that I'm playing as Shrek. Drops us on a nice platform over a pit of rats. This should work. One fewer rat now. They got each other's backs pretty well, though. And that is twice as long of a walk to get back to where I just died. Love it. Back on the platform. Ready to see the rat trio again. And I don't think I'll get the free kill this time. Close. At least they lined up perfectly. Jumped right in the way of my blade anytime it wasn't in the process of hacking somebody. So we got tube, we got a big gate, locked by a key, and a ladder up. And the ladder up leads to a ladder even further up. Much further up. Or a big gate to another loading zone. We got dogs, too. Can't be all rats and wolves. Another ladder. And all the way at the end, one last lonely rat. Not invited to the rat parties we've seen. However, here's something interesting. We've seen a bunch of these. Coffins hanging from chains. But black coffins are indestructible. Shoot them all we want. Nothing'll happen. These coffins, we know well, are not indestructible. And there's one of them hanging right here. So, here's the cheap corpse that was buried inside. Couldn't afford a indestructible black coffin. But they insisted on being buried in their steepled hat. +1 endurance, and +1 skill. It's just plain better than the hunter hat. It's been well worn by someone from a different plane of reality. While she can't communicate with us directly, her lingering spirit nonetheless encourages you to keep going. Don't mind if I do. And I will appreciate this enhanced fashion sense while doing so. We've suddenly become the Wicked Witch of the West. But not all that wicked. Hadn't gone this way yet, where there are a bunch of ships. Tiny, useless boats. All coming from this dead end. Where a pair of ignorant rats are worshipping a skull. They could really use that skull because the spinning PS1 skull is in sight. Collected one before. It makes us smarter, see even more of reality. So these boats here, if we'd entered the sewer before killing the cleric beast, we would not have been able to see these boats. They are hidden to the eye of the typical mortal who lacks sufficient insight. But getting that one extra insight has done nothing for us practically, as of this moment. Gets us one insight closer to opening the last remaining door in the hunter's dream. So that's something. There's the rat pit again. Could avoid it entirely by going up the ladder. Or could avoid it by running for our lives. And hitting another loading zone. I remember in my blind playthrough this being an excellent place to grind some blood. Because when you go through that loading zone, all three of those rats respawn. Slice them up again. Fix yourself a nice meal. Rinse and repeat. Eating meals and rinsing are both things you should not be doing in the sewers. But here we are. It's a good thing we picked the left fork first, because it leads to a lever that you need to pull in order to go down the right fork. The left-hand path is always the correct choice. Got another poison rat waddling off this way. Just in case. Take it out now before it becomes a problem. Now, we did see safe, healthy sewers just behind us. Clear blue water. So, of course, that's the wrong way. The way that isn't going to kill you. The scary purple water that poisons you the second you touch it, that is the correct route. We need to run through as quickly as possible. I have a feeling we're going to need this antidote. Another door locked by the sewer key. Let's assign the antidote quickly over the hunter's mark. Let's hear a little story about the antidote. Small medicinal tablets that counteract poison. Used to treat ash and blood, the baffling sickness that ravaged old Yharnam long ago. Somehow, ash and blood became the beastly scourge. So, improper sewer treatment is what led to the first destruction of Yharnam, which we now have to, I believe, annually beat back with swords and blades and guns. Another rat here who wishes to fight me in the sewage. Can't blame them since they're immune. That is a recipe for getting poisoned very quickly. There was a fork here. Leads to a dead end and some cold blood. Just let it dissipate. Always fun to have a waiting mechanic built in. Rats are full of throwing knives. Perhaps they've interacted with hunters before. Not that we've seen a lot of corpses down here. And I just barely had 1 foot out of the sewage that whole time, or else I would be poisoned right now. Let's activate this lantern for safety, more than anything else. More antidotes. Okay, I was poisoned this whole time. But I don't need the antidote anymore because the meter ran out, so now I'm not poisoned. So what we have here, this is the way we came in. There's the lantern, then we off in the distance. That is one new way we can go. The new door. Maybe rabies is also transmitted via ash and blood. This person somehow, whilst carrying a double-barrel shotgun, got overtaken by this dog. I guess I'm not one to judge. I too have fared rather poorly against some of these dogs. So, never even really tried out the flame sprayer. We already have a double-barrel shotgun. How can I resist? Tell us a story about that, why don't you? Not a hunter firearm. It's just a standard, non-magical thing. But it's so powerful. Doesn't even matter. Knocks enemies down. Then it requires manual reloading afterwards. There is an actual reload animation for this thing. Very important to keep in mind. So we could keep going that way. Instead, we can check this route. It's hard to tell because it's so dark in here. Maybe I should have brought my torch. But this part of the sewer is shaped like a big T. And this branch has a loading zone, indicating that it is especially important. Some crows managed to creep down here. Frankly, that's pretty impressive. Feel like I'm not going to want to go into sewage that deep. So I will very daintily walk my way across narrow planks so that I can meet some dogs. Not the ideal interaction one could have with dogs, but nice to see a canine face in this oppressive environment. And impressive, I guess. That's what I almost accidentally said. So we got singled out target. 92 damage and flung halfway across the level. But as we were warned, it's currently folded over, indicating that it does need to be reloaded. It's a pretty quick reload. And luckily one of the dogs hopped right into the water, instantly killing itself. These dogs just wanted to warm themselves on a bonfire. We had to ruin it. Almost missed this. How would I live without that throwing knife when I haven't used a single one yet? Okay, that's another dead end. Whole reason we did the walking the plank was to get around that dead end. feel like we should explore the rest of this first. Crows, that seems like a good sign. How do they fare against a shotgun? It's some better days. Whoop. Should probably lock on first. On the bright side, it does only take one Quicksilver bullet to fire both barrels of the shotgun. And that, of course, was the sewer key. Now we can do even more in the sewers. What a privilege. If survive these crows. There. Kill one, leave the other. Tell the tale. And quickly assign the sewer key before it catches up. Right about here. Sewer key. Molotov. Haven't used that. We saw this door from the other side, of course. We've merely opened a shortcut. Ding, there's that guy. That old friend of ours. And our lantern. Back home. By one quick level up. And call it a day. Or a night, rather. A very, very long night. For LP. If we can find our level up vendor. He was over here last time. There she is. On the balcony, since we opened that up. Let's meet her. She claims to be a doll, but she has all the mobility you could ever hope to enjoy as a living human person. Saw Cleaver level 2, don't mind if I do. Twin Bloodstone Shards ×2. We have 1. So, not an option yet. So we strengthened our bond with Gilbert this time. Got a fancy new hat. And a new gun to accentuate our look. Oh yeah, also the best armor in the game. Wouldn't want to forget that. We even made a new crow friend.
Welcome. What is it you... Very well. Let me now shut your...
Now we just need strength. 1 extra point of damage. Same if we put it in skill. Or 23 additional HP. I feel like we need a little more strength. That is, yeah, all I can afford. Just making sure. There we go. Next time, we will explore the sewers further. And perhaps find the source of that mysterious music back near the great bonfire.
Farewell, good hunter. May you find your worth in the waking world.